of a tank.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Dear. I've had 5 researchers, 2 of them admittedly job creation people, working on the nutrition story to run between today and 3 o'clock. And the minute they heard that the world might be ending, they said, oh, let's talk about that instead. And since this is the kind of show that likes to be talking about whatever people are talking about, here goes the show on nutrition and an opportunity to improve the eating habits of people in the northern parts of the countries which make up the United Kingdom. So we won't, unless, of course, there's something that you wanted to contribute to what is already known about the fact that whether you're in England, Wales, Scotland or Ireland, the further north you go, the less well people eat. I suppose I really ought to be archiving. It was going to be a grand show, but we'll leave it there for the time being. Okay, I like doing that. I know you do too. Because they decided that we ought to talk about the end of the world. Supposing the world did end then, tonight, okay? Supposing it did. I mean, what would you do? You'd run home, wouldn't you? You'd want to be with your loved ones, wouldn't you? But why? Why? I mean, what would you do right now? I know what we all think we'd like to do right now, and that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I gaze at some of the heady beauties through the glass screen who are here with me at Talk Radio. If the world was ending in an hour, I know what I'd like to do, but I don't think I would. I'd probably do something sensible, like try and find out exactly how it was going to end, in order to make sure that if there was a chance of escaping, I'd be able to. Have you given any thought to the end of the world? We should do, because all philosophies, sciences and cultures, all religions do refer to the Judgment Day, the end of the world. Scientists are very comfortable about telling us that in something like 90 squillion years' time, the sun is going to implode and become a, black hole eventually, having been a something or other white star previously. But anyway, it will mean the end of life on this planet. Other scientists are saying that the universe will go on forever because one of our missions might be to populate the entire universe with human beings like ourselves. But have you ever thought about what might happen if the world is going to end? How do you think the world is going to end, first of all? Do you think it's going to end with some kind of judgment day? That is to say, do you think somebody or something, some higher intelligence or some higher spiritual being is going to deliver a judgment on all of us? Well, these are Germans, by the way, apparently, who believe that the world is going to end tonight. I don't know whether that changes your thinking on the whole business. Yes, Germans they are. This is an update. This story is obviously going to run through the afternoon. This is the very latest. We weren't clear on this, but these Canary Island people who believe the world is going to end tonight and that they're going to tailcoat a comet to heaven are Germans on the Canary Islands. But how do you think the world's going to end? You can't say you don't think it will, because it will end. The world will end. That's an astonishing thought. That's why we don't think about it. But let's think about it and let's talk about it. The world is definitely going to end. Do you believe there'll be any element of judgment about it? Do you think it will be sort of a bit like the Old Bailey, the criminal justice court of the Old Bailey, where each and every one of us will be in the dock and somebody with white hair, whether it's a wig or his own, is going to tell us how well we did as individuals? And whilst we're talking about that, how well do you think we have done as a species? How well has humanity done? If the Germans in the Canary Islands are right, and the world is going to end tonight, okay, then we know all we need to know, don't we, to form a judgment on how well we've done. I would give us B to B+. Some work has merit, shows promise, but needs to pay more attention. What would you say? Free call 0500 10 53 89. And then, of course, there is the quasi-scientific question, how is the world going to end? The world, of course, could end for us as a species before the world itself ends, and that will probably almost certainly happen, because even if it is scorched by a red-hot exploding or imploding sun, the Earth will be here long after we are gone, because we can't, can we, tolerate very much in the way of climatic change, whereas the planet itself can, because we know it's gone from being a red-hot ball of lava right the way through to being covered in ice and back again to halfway between the two, which is where it is now. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We caught the news at 2 and we heard that a group of people are convinced they're holding out. They may be about to do themselves unnecessary harm, and that would be tragic. In the Canary Islands, it's a group of Germans following a religious cult. We're getting more and more religious cult activity as we head towards the millennium, aren't we? They think the world is ending anyway. We'll keep you posted on that, obviously. I might as well say it. But the question is this: have you ever thought about the end of the world? And will it be a judgment day? And how will it happen? And how have we, humanity, done? And if you're prepared to try it, because this is the one that counts, this is the one that really counts, how have you done? Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Tommy Boyd. Free call 0500 10 53 89. 0500 10 53 89.
Just thinking about it, I don't care, do you, if the world ends in about 180 years' time? Because I won't be here to see it, my children won't be here to see it, and I might meet their children, so my grandchildren won't be here to see it. So it won't affect anybody I know or will have ever met. So should I care? Should you care? No. Paul calls from Wiltshire. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Paul.
Oh, I don't think they're really committed, these Germans in the Canaries.
No?
No, because, you know, they was all in there the night before,
Yeah.
putting their towels on their sunbeds.
Yeah, that was a feeble man.
Sorry.
Yeah, I should think so. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Martin calls from Huddersfield. You're on Talk Radio, Martin.
Hello, Tommy.
Sir.
The end of the world. I predict the end of the world will come with somebody being immortalised in some way, and that person getting rid of all the other people because they're not living up to his standard. Like the dinosaurs. So how do we know that the Loch Ness Monster didn't become immortal in some way and wiped off all the other dinosaurs? Because...
Oh, what a good idea. So the Loch Ness Monster is to the dinosaurs what Jesus is to us.
Exactly.
What an interesting idea.
You know, anyway, I'm glad you think it's interesting, so I'll leave it at that. But I mean...
Yeah, okay then.
Okay, thank you.
Not at all. It was a very interesting idea. Bonkers, of course, but most of the most interesting ideas are. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Paul calls from London. You're on Talk Radio, Paul.
Hello, Tommy Boyd.
Hello, Paul.
Hi. I want to say that people have been criticising Jehovah's Witnesses forever about their beliefs that the world's going to end, and only now that we're coming up to the millennium that people are starting to realise that they were right. And if you read the Bible, you could see how much evidence there is that the world is going to end. But it's not going to end totally. It's going to... because at the moment, I'm not the best person to talk about it because I'm like recent... convert, kind
Victim.
of.
Yes.
Yeah, but God gave Satan 6,000 years to rule the earth because Satan challenged God that Satan said that he can make anyone who he wants turn away from God. So instead of God just throwing Satan, into
Yes, it was very
darkness, he said, "Okay,
yes.
I'll."
I think we know where you're going with this one, Paul. We've sort of heard it before.
Okay.
Now, in the first place, Paul, all religions, all walks of life, anything anybody ever does gets criticised plenty, so it's not just the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
Point two, nobody thinks that the world is going to end soon as a part of somebody's
It's not going to actually
judgment
end.
process
It's not going to actually end.
because
It's
of the
just-
millennium coming up.
Yeah.
And nobody is starting to think that the Jehovah's Witnesses might have got it right after all, who didn't already think that. And thirdly, there is no evidence of anything in the Bible, any more than there is evidence in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe that there is a kingdom on the other side of that piece of furniture. But if you want to believe it, good luck to you.
Okay, but can I say that Judgment Day isn't going to be a literal 24-hour day?
How old are you?
15.
15, and you're telling us, are you, how to live our lives?
I'm not telling you how to live your life.
That's interesting, isn't it? Do you know enough to be telling people how they ought to be?
I'm not telling anyone anything because...
How come you know this then, and there's lots of bus drivers who don't? Hey?
Because my mum used to have a Bible study and I used to listen in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy yourself, enjoy your religion.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's the best thing can be said for it. It's a lot of fun to be had, and a lot of nice thoughts. For yourself, at any rate.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.
The number is free call, 0500 10 53 89. And to Wayne in Manchester, you're on Talk Radio. Wayne.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I think with regards to I've just been listening to your programme. With regards to the end of time, your caller before the last one just reiterated the point I wanted to make. I think if you do read the Bible, even the most sceptical of people who read the Bible, you would find what the Bible says quite chilling with regards to the end of time. Well, it mentions things like...
Well, why tell us then? What are you frightening people for?
Sorry?
What do you want to frighten people for then?
I wouldn't say I'm frightening people,
well,
but
what do you want to chill us for then?
Sorry?
What do you want to chill us for then?
I just think it's mentioning the inevitable, really. We know that when it gets dark in the morning, it's going to get lighter. We're just talking about something that it's not a matter of will it happen, but a matter of when it will happen.
Nah.
But just going back to the point I wanted to make about the Bible.
No.
I think
forget
if you
it. No. We've been all out. No, we know what you're going to say, so, we just go, you know what I'm going to say, because we know what you're going to say, okay? And so we're going to say back, no, it's not true. But if you want to believe that, that's great, because it's nice for you.
I think with regards to the Bible, I think it actually states...
You're going to say it, aren't you? You're going to tell us again. Go on, then.
Well, it does state in the Bible that towards the end of time, there'll be a cooling off. People, with regards to affection and so on towards other people, will cool off. People will become more selfish and basically more ignorant towards each other. And I don't know if
you see that isn't happening, is it?
Well, did you watch that programme on BBC One? Was it the night before last night, Neighbours from Hell?
Is that the best you can do?
Did you watch that programme?
A TV programme supports the Bible.
Well, I think that reiterates a lot of what the Bible's saying. That only scratched the surface. It was on for 30 minutes.
It neither reiterates nor reiterates what the Bible is saying, and I can assure you that...
I think it shows that people, there's no love towards each other's neighbours, and I think that animosity is growing in society in general anyway.
Well, that's simply not true, except in the case of people like you who want to frighten people into thinking that they're going to go to hell unless they follow your spotty self, okay? Now, leave us alone. Just leave us alone. Stop, look, I'm not going to frighten you, and I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
I'm damn sight more Christian than you.
Well, this is why it makes such an interesting debate for the radio, doesn't it? The differences of opinions.
No, that's not what makes it an interesting debate. The difference of opinions. The crass ignorance of some people is what makes it an interesting debate.
Well, I'll listen with interest. I'm sure a majority of your listeners would agree with me rather than agree with you.
That simply isn't true, because less than 30% of the population go to church, so the majority will not be agreeing with you.
Well, I'm going to listen with anticipation on the callers that will come after me.
Well, why don't you learn something for a change instead of just telling us stuff, eh? You talk such loose
I think you could have learned something that I've said to you today.
No, because I've heard it all before. Look, I had all that. Every one of us had all that passed by us, pumped into us, banged into us. We were given no option in the matter. Nobody told me about Buddhism when I was a little fella. Nobody told me about atheism. Teachers weren't allowed to say to you, because there might not be a God, because there might not be. See? So I was brainwashed. Only me, and plenty of people like me. As soon as we got the opportunity, we had a little think about it all by ourselves. Independent stuff, see? But there's still sheep out there.
Well, I think at the end of the day, people that believe in God and believe in the Bible are not lost sheep. I think at the end of the day, your belief in God is down to your own
Shall I tell you what I believe? I believe that the IQ of people who believe in God is about 20 points on average lower than atheists. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that. What do you say to that?
Well, I think people who believe in God have always had people like you living next to them who don't believe in God. And at the end of the day,
I just asked you a question. I just asked you a question. Don't you agree or disagree?
With regards to the IQ?
Yeah.
Well, I think to certain religious groups, people could find that insulting. I personally don't, because I'm very broad-shouldered.
That's not the point. That's not what I'm asking you. Are you saying that you think it's true? Effectively, you agree with me.
I don't think it's true. I think...
Well, you go to the University of Manchester then and find out how many of the lecturers there believe in God, okay?
What would one university prove that? If you wanted to do a survey, you'd have to survey 100 universities to come up with a true, accurate picture, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah, but
I'm sure you'd find a lot would believe in God.
You're not going to even do Manchester, are you? Because you don't want to find out anything you don't want to know, do you?
Well, it wouldn't take the conversation any farther if we just done a survey of Manchester.
Get rid of you, though, because you'd have to go up to the campus. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're talking about the end of the world. There's a story happening in the Canary Islands at the moment involving some German followers of a religious cult. They think the world is going to end. I think it's tonight. Well, okay, we know it's not. And we know it's not going to happen in our lifetime. And if it did happen, it would happen like this. Wouldn't it? Suddenly we'd simply all not be there. It wouldn't be a gradual process wherein the climate and the air that we breathe deteriorated until the point when it could no longer support us. Or maybe you think that's what will happen. Free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
There's a good argument for listening. Free call 0500 1053 89 now.
One of our select handful of all-star callers, Simon from Hampshire, get a few letters about him, has called and wants to join the argument. I can see him at the back of the queue at the moment buying some peanuts. He'll be on air at about, I suppose about quarter of an hour, 20 minutes time. If you would specifically like to disagree or agree with Simon from Hampshire, who will, I am anticipating, be making a view which somehow equates the end of the world with gay sex or gay people, because that's what he always seems to bang on about. In fact, if you want bang on about, so if you'd like to take issue with Simon, then we'll be clearing the boards at about 22. And as soon as you've cottoned on to whatever it is that he's droning on about this time, then by all means, feel free, and we'll make it a Simon from Hampshire versus the rest slugfest. We're talking about the end of the world. Stuart calls from Dundee. You're on Talk Radio, Stuart. Hello.
Hi. Earlier on, you asked how well has humanity done?
Yes.
And how do we judge ourselves? Do we have a frame of reference? I mean, black is only black compared to white. So how well or badly have we done compared to monkeys or goldfish or...
Well, historians manage to do it, don't they? Somehow or another, draw some conclusions about how well a civilization performed, the Romans, for example.
But that's compared to us, or compared to the Egyptians, or...
It's compared to what they had to start with and what they've ended up with, and what they did in the middle bit, isn't it? And we started out with nothing, didn't we?
Yeah.
And quite a few primitive practices, I would imagine. I mean, how would you think we've done? What would you give us?
Well,
out of 10?
I find that the question just incredibly difficult, because compared to, as I said, monkeys, we've done incredibly well. Some people say that we actually came from monkeys, but I don't know. But compared to what or who?
Well, compared to everything else compared to everything we know, we don't know another living thing which has access to notions of morality or ethics, do we? So since we do, and since we have wrestled with that, and I think done very well personally, I think we've done very well as a species.
Yeah,
I think we're a good lot, frankly.
There might be a planet someplace that had the same conditions as humans did when they started, but they're still running about in... Well,
there's your first short story if you ever wanted to write science fiction. Supposing whatever it is that's put us here on this planet has seeded in exactly the same way 100 identical planets on the same day that he seeded Earth with life, all right? And supposing he has managed to find, or it has managed to find 100 planets with the same climate, same size, same seas, same mountains as Earth, right? Do you suppose they'd more or less have followed the same path? Dinosaurs was an accident, probably, wasn't it?
Oh, probably.
So a lot of those planets would still be run by dinosaurs, I would guess.
I think that, humanity's still on the go only through luck rather than anything else.
Yeah.
The Second World War, that could have ended in about 10 seconds if they'd been a couple of years more advanced in the nuclear field. But until we do find out the other 100 planets, we can never even hope to answer that question.
No. I'm grateful for your thoughts. Sean is in London. Sean, you're on Talk Radio, sir.
Hello, Tommy.
Sean.
Yeah, at the risk of sounding like a doctrine-obsessed Christian, I think one of the biggest sins is the end of childhood, or the enforced end of childhood. And that's the end of the world inside our heads. That's when it all starts ending, and obviously it finishes ending with our death. It's the saddest thing for someone to die who has lost their roots. All historians talk about you need to be in touch with your roots, and what more roots are there than the roots of your birth and your when you're a toddler and you're growing up, and especially in Anglo-Saxon ways, we're taught to progress intellectually and emotionally, and it's all forced.
Well, when you lose your childhood, then is it not replaced with something even more demanding? Yes, but potentially magnificent.
There are responsibilities that can be that will come and can be rewarding, and I'm not saying they should be shirked. But the loss of childhood for me, is a very serious thing. It's not so much what you think when you're a child. It's the fact that when you're steered off that course, which would flow by itself by another doctrine, whether it's a religious thing or a technological doctrine that we're all following, when you're steered off that course, off that natural course, you're put on another artificial course, which you might never be able to put yourself back on the real course ever again, and that's a very sad thing for me.
Yeah, I'm not quite clear what your agenda is.
I think like Christians come in and they tell us to think good things and to be good to other people and turn the other cheek and this kind of thing. There's all these doctrines which are forced upon us as children to be good, and when we're at school to learn things, when really I think we could study Aesop's fables all day long and would still be just as good.
Can you be a bit more specific, because I still haven't quite got the handle yet?
Well, the end of the world, I think, for all of us, is when we lose ourselves, when we lose our own idea of ourselves. And most people, in my experience, don't think for themselves. They follow already existing doctrines, and that's really the end of the world.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay. Thanks for your call. Nice to talk to you.
Okay, cheers, Tommy.
See you. Shalem calls from London. Shalem, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Shalem.
I think the world's going to end on the year 2000 due to one of two reasons. It's either the millennium bug, or it's going to be due to somebody being stupid. Tommy? You there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the millennium bug, because every single electronic equipment these days has a little microchip which has a date on it, and the year on the date is a two-digit number.
Yeah, we know about the millennium bug.
Yeah.
But it really only affects PCs.
No, it affects everything, including cars, planes.
No, it doesn't affect cars.
Yeah, you have. I don't know much about cars, but I heard on
You
the
don't, do
radio
you?
it operates something on the car.
No, it doesn't.
All right.
There aren't any computers in cars.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be a computer.
Yes, it does.
It's a microchip.
No, it's a computer.
No, it's a microchip.
You don't understand the millennium bug, do you?
You know, a video recorder has a date on it. Yeah?
The millennium bug isn't going to affect your video.
Every machinery has a date on it, and it doesn't go past the year 2000.
Only computers do. Don't worry about your kettle going off on the year 2000, because it won't understand
what about
what
planes,
year it
then?
is.
Planes.
I think they'll still get up and down as planned.
Yeah, but what if it just like suddenly
It's just
stops
computer
because it
It's just
doesn't see past?
it won't happen. It's just dear boy, you are worried. You mustn't worry. It's only what will happen is that the banks will have a problem with your statement and things like that. And loads of pretty irrelevant companies, frankly, who depend on a network of technology which is carrying pieces of communication which don't matter a jot. You know, they're going to have a few problems, insurance companies and that sort of thing. But it's not going to cause the end of the world. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I think you got it wrong about the other machineries not having a date on it and microchips.
No, I haven't. Don't worry about it.
Yes, you might get some other callers agreeing with me there.
I won't. You're the only person in the world who got that as wrong as this.
Yeah, and shall I tell you the other reason why the world might end?
I bet it's closer to what gives, Shalem. Go on, then.
You know, if you have a little party, yeah?
Yes.
Somebody has to be stupid at that party to mark it, don't they?
Well, okay.
Mark the occasion.
Well, we
This
won't stop
millennium
there,
party
but
is going to be a big one.
Yes.
So somebody's going to mark it with something big.
Right.
It might be a nuclear explosion or something.
Yes. Gosh, you're full of fear, aren't you? Never mind. I'm sure we'll be able to talk again in 24 months' time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to speak to you again.
And you, boy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. James calls from Essex. You're on Talk Radio. James, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir.
Now, this is a scientific fact, okay, and it's going to blow your mind. All right, listen? Now, there's a code in the Bible, and a guy in Israel found it. Now, what you do is you feed the original text of the Bible into a computer and jump through it at spaces of 5,000 letters, and it'll spell out things in the future. Now, this has been acknowledged in America, and they've brought the book out, The Bible Code by Michael Drosnin, and it's been used by the Israeli government to help stop the world ending, which is incredible.
Isn't it?
Yes.
I didn't know any of this. This is extraordinary.
Yes, it is. You see, what you get is you get codes like the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Did they predict that?
Yeah, it's got the date in there, in the Bible. And also, they predicted the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, and they wrote to him saying, watch out.
Yeah, and he didn't.
We know it's going to happen.
He didn't.
And exactly when they said, he got shot in the back.
Did he not get the letter?
He got the letter, but he just wasn't careful enough.
God.
Then they found the name of his assassin right above the code.
And they got him.
Yeah, they shot him, which is a shame.
No, I mean they got the bloke who did it.
Yeah, they got the bloke who did it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, so what's going to happen next then? Do we know who's going to win the cup this year, for example?
No, we don't know that, but then it's not really useful, is it?
Well, you say that.
Yeah, anyway,
it's not without its value, knowing who's going to win the cup, is
but
it?
it predicts the end of the world happening because of the Israelis trying to get their hands on nuclear weapons from the Soviets. Because there's a big stockpile and it's pretty easy to get them. And so Bimini Netanyahu, the president in Israel, has been working with this to try and keep things level.
I think he does all the other jobs from what I've been reading, but anyway.
Yeah, but this is the definitive proof of the end of the world.
And
you can get the book. I mean, it wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes if it was a fraud.
No. Of course not.
No.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is, obviously, this changes everything.
Yeah.
When is the world going to end?
Well, there are 5 possible dates, 2000, 2006 and 2002.
Right. Does it all depend, on availability of, I don't know, 5 possible dates?
Well, there's something else about a comet coming round, but there's a possibility that we can deflect it.
Yeah.
You see, it keeps adjusting itself to keep up with present-day events. So if we did something, to help our future, then it would account for that.
James, it's fascinating talking to you.
Okay. I mean, the book is amazing.
Yeah. Free call 0500 1053 89. Whoops. Sorry, I fell over. And it's only coffee. Astonishing, wasn't it? Neil calls. He's on the M1. He's at junction 24, or at least he was when he phoned in. Where are you now, Neil?
I'm still at junction 24, Tommy.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear.
What I want to know is, how are these Germans going to cope tomorrow morning when they wake up and find the world hasn't ended?
Well, it's been happening for a long time, hasn't it?
What, the world ending?
People
waking up?
People thinking the world's going to end.
Yeah, but normally they manage to kill themselves before it actually happens.
Not normally, no. That you're thinking of Heaven's Gate.
Well, yeah, the most famous one, isn't it? But
fairly famous.
Yeah. But if these guys can't actually get round to killing themselves tonight, they're going to have to wake up and face the fact that their life up to date has been a waste of time.
Well, no, what they will have done is they will have built in a get-out clause in their philosophy. So they will say that the world will end tonight, but if it doesn't, it only goes to prove that God is right and loves us all. Because that's how they tend to think, isn't it? Don't you think?
Well, unless the Germans could use their arrogance to get out of it.
Are we going to end up having a go at the Germans here again?
Why not?
Why not? You're absolutely right. Why not?
No, well, I just thought, being as you're a well-scholared man, you'll be able to figure this one out, or give them some advice to help cope with life.
Well, I haven't got any advice to give to help cope with life, have you?
Not really, I've just struggled to cope with life myself.
Exactly, you just get through the day, don't you, mate? Do you know what I mean? You just get through the day without thinking about it, don't you?
Generally, yeah, but, I mean, I haven't based my life on the fact that the world's going to end tonight.
No, but on the other hand, a certain intimation of our own mortality is quite a healthy thing, isn't it? Because none of us are going to live forever.
Oh, I hope not.
No. Well, you say that, but you'd quite like to.
No.
Yes, you would.
No.
Don't give me that, that would be a nightmare. It would be great.
No.
It would.
I personally don't want to get old.
I didn't say you'd go old, just that you could live forever.
Yeah, but then
as
you'd
you
have to
are
watch
now.
Everybody around you die, wouldn't you?
Well,
that wouldn't be very pleasant.
Yeah, well, no, it wouldn't, but that's happening anyway, isn't it? So it wouldn't be any different from what it is now.
Oh, but the way things are at the moment, you've only got a certain amount of deaths to watch.
Yes. What is the average amount of deaths watched during the course of a life, then? 7.5?
It's got to be around something like that. I mean, usually your parents...
Number of funerals that you go to that mean something to you?
Yeah, if you reach more than 10, then you're doing well.
If you reach more than 10, you're living a long life, but obviously your family don't eat well.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
That's a good question. I think I settled my roots in Milton Keynes now, but I used to be down in Worthing.
Down in Worthing.
Before that, I was travelling about in the military.
Understood. Worthing. So you obviously, according to the survey, which was going to be today's programme, you eat well and keep yourself fit.
I eat well.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Yes. Well, go on, you drive on safely. Where are you headed?
Back to Milton Keynes now. I'm finished for my day.
What have you been doing?
Delivering electrical goods around the country.
Electrical goods which will not go bananas in the year 2000 because they've got a a rogue microchip in them?
Quite possibly.
Oh, really?
But I can't mention the company who supply them, otherwise they'll be in trouble, won't they?
Exactly. Drive safely. See you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tommy. Bye.
Reg calls from Hampshire. Reg, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, Reg.
How you doing? All right?
I've never been better. Thank you for the inquiry.
I was just thinking, if the world should end tomorrow, or tonight, whenever the Germans say it is,
yes,
who will miss us? If it's supposed to be flash, bang, wallet, we won't be missed at all, will we? Our legacy is nothing to be seen.
No.
It's not as if, you know, your mother or father's died.
No.
Or somebody who will be missed.
No.
So who will miss us?
It's
Are
like
we
that
really
thing-
that important?
It's like the thing of if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? If there's no one there to hear it?
Exactly.
And similarly, you know, if we just go snuff it, then it will have all been for nothing.
If we all go together,
yes,
we won't know anyway.
If you really concentrated on the fact that you're not going to be here for much longer, Reg, because you're not, are you? What age are you?
33.
33, so you're not going to be here much longer, are you?
Well, for a few years, I hope.
But not very long, really, in the great
Not-
scheme
not
of
in-
things.
In the scheme of things, no.
I mean, blink
None
and,
of us are.
blink and we'll miss you, Reg.
Exactly.
'Cause you're gone. But if you really focus on that fact, are you going to live your life any differently?
I live my life for fun. I'm not going to continue to do so.
All right, have a good time tonight. Carol calls from Sussex. Carol, you're on Talk Radio.
Tommy, I've got the date. It's the 24th of December, 2012.
Oh, not Christmas Eve.
Yeah, unfortunately, but that's the date it's going to be.
Why?
I've just finished reading a brilliant book by Graham Hancock called Fingerprints of the Gods.
Yeah.
And this guy has studied lots of ancient cultures. The book describes the possible beginning of the Earth as we know it, and therefore he's followed it through to the end. It involves a lot about the pyramids, when they were built, cultures dating back to far earlier than we originally thought.
Yeah.
And a lot of cosmology in it, and various other things. Very scientific facts, which in fact a lot of very ancient cultures did seem to have down on their calendars a lot before we had the technical know-how to do it.
Okay, so that's the date.
I reckon, yeah.
Christmas Eve, 2012.
I don't know what time though.
No, so
I
it's
don't
not
know
that
whether
far
it's worth
away.
hanging your stocking up, you see.
Well, plenty of us, our driving licences last longer than that,
That's right.
don't they?
That's right.
But the question is this: how is it going to end? Is it going to go like that, so be painless?
I think it's going to be similar to another ice age or volcanoes, that kind of thing.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, it's not a very happy subject, but I suppose we've just got to kind of make the best of the life we've got left.
Do you know the sketch that goes, "Will this wind be so mighty as to lay low the mountains of the earth"?
Don't know the sketch, but I'm impressed with the voice.
Okay, well, good enough for me then. Carol, I'll talk to you again before Armageddon.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Tommy. Bye.
Simon in Hampshire has reached the front of the queue. He'll be putting his point in a couple of moments. The switchboard is clear. If you particularly like to take issue with Simon or agree with Simon from Hampshire, if you haven't heard Simon from Hampshire before, I do recommend what you're about to hear, I'm sure. The number is free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. Is rushing forward, dominates the news. We're asking about the end of the world. There are a group of Germans who are holed up in the Canary Islands who believe that the world is going to end, and they may want to anticipate tonight and speed themselves on their way sooner rather than later. So obviously the authorities are trying to persuade them not to do anything foolish. But the end of the world, it's one of those subjects which will never go away. I just wonder whether it is worth giving any thought to it, because scientists say it is going to happen. It is going to happen, albeit a long time in the future, but it could happen sometime in the next 5 minutes. It simply could. Simon calls from Hampshire. Simon, Happy New Year to you.
Same to you, Tommy. Hello. When I first heard you introduce this subject, I was getting on the phone to have a right go at you because I thought you were being absolutely absurd. I thought you were endorsing all this talk and you were succumbing to the religious beliefs and idiocy that the world's going to end. But I've been listening for the last 45 minutes or so. For once, strangely, I agree with you. And some of these people I've been hearing on the telephone are just lost for words. It's absolutely unbelievable how idiotic some people can be. I'll tell you, as you know, and as I heard you refer to,
yes.
One thing in life I don't like is homosexuals. The other thing is religion. Absolutely drives me insane. And listening to some of these people, I've been itching, and I was wishing that I could just get on and just tear them apart. I can't stand religious people. This is a fantastic subject to have me on the line for, because religion, second to homosexuality, is my absolute hatred.
So, can I just get that again? You hate Christianity less than homosexuals?
Yes, I do, yes.
How much less? Is it close?
It's fairly close, yeah. It's not just Christianity either, it's religion in general.
Yes. So,
religion is responsible for so many bad things in this world, for wars, for killings. It's an absolute... it's awful. I hate it.
But if you could do away with one or the other, it would still be homosexuality.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Understood. Okay, well, free call 0500 10 53 89 if you'd like to take issue with Simon on anything that he said. You don't believe in God.
Oh, absolutely not.
What was Jesus then? Was he just a nice bloke who was misunderstood?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think he was. I think there probably was a person who was looked up to that has been absolutely exaggerated by the mindless.
Do you know what a fatwa is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what do you think of Muhammad?
Muhammad, you've lost me.
The prophet of Islam.
Religious, I hate him.
Now you've done it now. Don't you know what they've done to Salman Rushdie? He has to live in a hotel.
Well, that's his own fault. He's obviously a religious man himself, and this is the sort of thing that religion does to people.
So what do you think of Islam, then?
Religious, I hate it. Anything to do with religion, I hate. Simply because it's just involved with so many bad things in this world.
Did you know that a number of supporters of Islam are suggesting that the bingo halls...
Yes, I read that.
Mecca should change their name because it's insulting them.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what also got my goat. I spent a short time working in my local supermarket, and there was a complaint from customers, not in my particular store, but there was a complaint from, I think it was Muslim customers, that the small graphic of a pig, which is on the back of our till receipts, offended them, and so we had to have a Muslim-only checkout without any pictures on the back of the receipt, and that incensed me.
Very annoying, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes, I can see all that. But listen, Simon Boz has called the programme, and Boz would like a word with you. Are you there, Boz? Good afternoon.
Hello there?
Boz, yes, you're through to Simon in Hampshire.
Oh, Simon from Hampshire?
Yes.
But basically, I'm really in favour of what Simon's saying, but I think basically... Tommy, I'm afraid you're being very insulting and very, very unreasonable. You're making a bit of a joke of yourself, basically. I mean, you sort of, you're just sort of trying to spread a malaise through all people that believe the Bible or go against the politically correct general thought.
Is this Tommy you're talking to or Simon?
Both. I mean, basically, like what you were saying, Simon...
Yes.
About homosexuals. I totally agree with you.
Excellent.
Totally agree with you, mate. There's far too much, political correctness. I don't give a stuff about Elton John and all that.
Yes.
If he gives money, right, he gives it all to AIDS, nothing to cancer.
Absolutely.
Anything like that. I hate all this political correctness.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
Basically, I just can't stand pufters.
Yes.
It makes me really mad. People in the entertainment business, like Boyd, right? They all go along round with it because they're those are their mates.
They have to. They're pressured by society.
In showbiz, if you come out on the streets, Tommy, you'd see what people really think of people like that.
On the streets of Kent.
Anywhere.
I'd learn on the streets of Kent.
But I mean, you're based. Why do you feel the need to ridicule Christian belief? People who believe the Bible. I mean, it's totally unnecessary. All right, you're an atheist, but why can't you just be happy in it and leave the people who disagree with you alone?
Christianity is an obscenity. I'm fully with you on the homosexuality issue that you raised, but your views on Christianity and religion in general are way off the mark, I'm afraid. The reason that they become insulted, and Tommy was indirectly insulting Christianity, and I'm directly saying that I can't stand religion. This is... I've forgotten what I was going to say. This is,
Come on, think of a word, come on. What does it begin with?
It's,
Is it a long word?
I can hear him.
I think it's completely unreasonable.
Unreasonable is a good word.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring Barry into the conversation, who's calling from Glasgow. Barry, you're through to Simon in Hampshire. You're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
Is Simon there?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Simon, you were saying about how it was people who are religious and homosexuals who seem to cause all the world's problems.
Yeah.
And what the world's wars.
Got it spot on, yeah. Excellent, brilliant.
Well, that's an absurd statement. It's people with bigoted views and narrow-minded views like you.
No. It's people like me who've got realistic views.
No.
Proper views.
People use religion as an excuse. It's people who are bigoted and narrow-minded that cause the problems.
No. You are the narrow-minded one. Like Tommy was saying earlier, Tommy had it hit the nail right on the head. He was spot on when he made that comment about religious people having lower IQs, and that is absolutely spot on.
Oh, please. I am both homosexual and religious, and I don't have...
I hate you.
Oh, but have you got a low IQ?
I have a lower IQ.
No, I'm asking.
No, I don't. I have quite a high IQ.
Just asking.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Not at all.
But that's an absurd statement to say. To categorise people like that is just ridiculous.
No. It is absolute real. You are, again, you are being channeled into what society wants you to believe. You're not being able to think freely for yourself. You're conforming to other pressures around you, and it's shown in your personality. You're an idiot, man.
Don't be ridiculous.
Believe me, I've got no reservations in calling you an absolute idiot. You're an idiot if you believe these things. And the fact that you're homosexual really sickens me, and I can't believe it. I think you're probably in fact, I've only ever spoken to 2 homosexuals in my knowledge, and that's you and some other bloke who was on this programme when I was on a couple of months ago, and it sickens me.
Well, that's obviously why you're so narrow-minded, because you don't take the time to speak to other people.
Oh, I do. I take the time, and believe me...
You just said you've never spoken to other homosexual except me
that
and someone else.
That is because I go out of my way not to. I go out of my way not to.
Well, exactly.
And every
That's why you're so narrow-minded.
And when you said you were a homosexual, suddenly, and I literally mean this, having the phone against my ear, as I have now, churned my stomach, and I feel compelled to hold it away from me, because I've got your voice coming into my... You make my flesh crawl.
Now, just wait a second here. Simon in Hampshire and Barry in Glasgow. Can I ask each of you a question?
Yeah.
Simon, you are a heterosexual atheist.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Barry, you are a homosexual Christian.
Oh,
correct.
Right. If you had to trade one for one of the others, right, which would you be? Barry first. Are you with me?
Yeah, if I have to either give up being homosexual or give up being a Christian.
Yes, which would you do? Swap it and Simon would have to have it.
I don't know. That's not a question really I can answer, because I chose...
Yes, you can. Come on.
No, I choose to be both.
Well, but you've got to give one up.
Come on, you weak-minded fool.
I don't know. I'd probably choose to be heterosexual.
You'd keep Christianity?
Yeah.
And you'd go for girls?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you then, Simon?
I would be a Christian rather than a homosexual, as I said earlier.
Right. So you'd sooner find Jesus spiritually than physically?
Oh, yeah.
I can put it that way. All right.
Yeah.
Very interesting talking to you. Very, very mind-stretching. Barry, thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Simon, stay with us. I'm bringing Steve into the conversation, who's calling from Manchester. Steve, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Hi, I was just wondering if Simon had kids at all.
I haven't, no.
Well, don't. There's one thing that
intend to.
homosexuals have on top of you, and that is the fact that they will not reproduce. You will inevitably reproduce and instill your bigotry into these kids.
I don't follow you. What are you telling me, just not to have children?
You don't have children, yeah.
Oh, thank you for that advice. That's really useful.
Yeah, I was reading recently about the voluntary human extinction movement.
Really?
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's quite a good idea.
You're a Christian, you're religious, are you?
I'm not in the slightest bit religious, but I believe that if people have faith and it helps them through suffering, then it's okay.
No, there we go again. You see, you're conforming. And how can you say this, you see? You're sitting on the fence. You're saying you're not religious, but then, again, you're saying that Christianity and religion is okay. You're sitting on the fence. If you're going to come onto a programme like this, then you've got to have clear views.
Which you have, Simon, and I'm grateful for your call, and I'm grateful too for Steve in Manchester for coming on the air. Going to give the last word on this one for today to Alberto. Alberto calls from Glasgow. It's you, Alberto. Good afternoon.
Tommy.
You're on Talk Radio.
Tommy, lovely to talk to you again. And I can predict the end of the world.
Yes?
And it'll be when I die.
Yes.
Because one of the things I've learned, you see, as you go through life, and just listening to those speakers there,
yeah.
Everybody thinks they're the centre of the universe.
Yeah.
Until you get a bit older and you meet a lot of people and you realise it's not just quite as easy as that.
No. It's probably true, Al, but it's not very uplifting, is it?
Yeah.
Thanks for your call.
Bye.
Bye. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're going to celebrate air in the next hour of the programme, but hold your horses. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. Talk Radio.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.